Yeah, you kind of need Audacity to be able to actually do this. It's kind of important. Are you recording?
Yes.
Alright, recording.
Okay, sync test.
Right.
3, 2, 1,
sync. Okay.
It sounded like a Johnny Test whip crack on Cobb's end.
That's how it sounds like. Fucking. Now there's gonna be a second clap, and I apologize for that. But anyway.
Damn. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to pay slightly more attention when editing this.
Anyway, welcome to the Title Pendering Podcast. No, never mind.
No way. We can't do that yet. You stole my line.
Not yet.
Sorry.
Welcome to the Title Pendering Podcast, the Sonic Comic Recap podcast that's somehow going to milk 12 pages of comic for more than it's worth. I'm Camilla the Young Adult Witch, and I'm joined by my lovely partner Vespa Bunker, as well as a special guest of honor, Jughead, as played by Cobb Sprouse.
Hey.
Wait. Wasn't Bunker the guy from the sitcom, not the comics?
Wait, no, I can't. No, I just thought his last name was Archie.
No, Archie
last name's Bunker.
The guy from like that one sitcom from the 80s, like the right wing dude.
I don't know what Jughead's voice is, so I'm just gonna make noises.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. We're off to a great start here.
Yeah.
Today is a very special day, a very weird day for Title Pendering, because we're going to be doing a Halloween special, as you see by the title. But the problem is, we don't really have anything in the way of Halloween comics for Archie Sonic. And so the best thing we're gonna make do is a comic of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which has some relevance, I guess. You'll see when we get into it. How are we both feeling right now? Vespa, you go first. This is the first time we have more than one host.
Well, I've been wanting to get in the Halloween spirit since it's almost the end of the month, and this isn't really helping, unfortunately.
Wow!
This issue, at least.
For reference, dear listener, while most of our episodes are recorded like weeks in advance, this one is being recorded on the 28th, meaning it's out like... Hold on, maths in my head. Recording 3 days before it's set to come out. Yeah. I was half tempted to make this a live special, but the problem is I wanted to do my Sonic-themed table talk on Halloween, and so we're gonna just have to do this in advance.
We gotta do this 3 days before, or else Sonic will die. So we can't do it
Again.
He'll die again, and we don't want that.
Yeah, no. But how are you feeling?
I'm doing good.
Cobb?
I'm doing good.
That's good. You feeling good about this comic?
No.
Damn! Recap zone! Okay. Archie and Friends, A Halloween Tale from September 98.
That's not October.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch is... I'm doing my recap, fucker.
Sorry.
Sabrina the We're partners. We can afford to be toxic like this. Sabrina the Teenage Witch is buying comics for Salem because cats cannot buy comics. Because this is a comic from the 90s, she gets laughed at for being a girl in a comic store. Praising the art and writing of the comics, she accidentally recites the incantation for one of Salem's spells, taking her and the kid who was bullying her directly into the comic itself. Despite her holding Sonic Super Special Issue 7, which we'll cover in a later episode, Sabrina and her kids are instead taken to a confrontation between Robotnik and the duo of Sonic and Knuckles. Sonic and Knuckles split up, with Sonic taunting Robotnik and Knuckles trying to figure out what the deal is with the Overlanders, as they refer to Sabrina and the kid as. Sabrina uses a spell to return back home with the kid, only to realize she accidentally transported Sonic and Knuckles alongside them. With no convenient plot devices to get them back home, Sabrina decides to just take Sonic, Knuckles, and a random kid along with her to the costume party she was planning on going to until she can figure out how to fix things. We get a 2-page spread of the costume party itself before cutting over to Sonic and Knuckles trying to figure out what to do while waiting for Sabrina to get them back home. In the background, we get brief cameos from Shadowhawk, Particle, and Ian, and I'm only pointing this out now to make things way funnier 3 episodes from now. Sabrina steps away from the crowd to call Salem to bail herself out, only to notice that Robotnik has been teleported with the rest of them. Sonic and Knuckles kick the shit out of Robotnik, only to realize it's Jughead in a costume. Salem teleports the two away, Archie makes a strange reference to the X-Files, and the comic ends with a photorealistic Salem praising the works of Ken Penders, Dan DiCarlo, and Patrick Spaziante.
Salem would never praise Penders. I do not believe that Salem the Cat would ever read comics, really. It seems like he'd be like that'd be above him. At least, going by, from what I remember, the TV version of him. I feel like he'd have a lot of, snarky shit to say about them.
I think Salem would praise Penders if he got a paycheck out of it, so...
Good point.
I've never seen or read anything Sabrina, so I'm just flying by the seat of my pants here compared to the two of you.
And me and Cobb have only rewatched the Sabrina sitcom from the 90s with Melissa Joan Hart.
Yeah.
Which I don't think... Was that even out yet at this time?
I would have
This is 98. I'm not entirely sure, because again, I know nothing about Archie. I know nothing about...
Yeah. 1996 is when the show would have been out by then.
I mean...
You can tell how much I know little of Archie, given the bungled up title read at the start of the episode.
I'm not much more of an... the only really Archie comic that I've read is the first volume of Afterlife of Archie, and, of course, watching the Sabrina TV show growing up.
I can't believe that Archie is dead and is in the afterlife.
No, I don't want to spoil Afterlife of Archie.
Yeah, we'll wait until we become an Archie recap podcast. We just remove the Sonic from our title read.
Jesus God, no! It'll take us forever to get to Afterlife of Archie.
You don't want to talk about literally decades? Maybe you don't want to talk about half a century of comics?
God, no! I don't want to talk about that dribble.
So what you're saying is...
Wow!
So what you're saying is, you're not going to be covering the IDW comics.
Damn.
What, the Archie IDW comics?
Of Sonic. You're just going to be stopping with the end of Archie and just
you got a good point.
And just moving on to Archie itself.
Yeah, we're just gonna move on to Archie itself.
Yeah,
anyway,
we got tired of Sonic. Let's just see what Archie's up to.
Yeah, let's just become a Dragon Ball podcast. Anyway, what did we guys think of the what did we think of the comic? Vespa, you go first.
This was most definitely just a promo comic for Archie Comics. All right.
Damn.
We've talked about this before with the very first Sonic comics, the one with the Sonic origin, the origin of Robotnik and Sonic from the very start of the show.
Series.
But it's very much feels like in the vein of that, but more focused on trying to sell you on the Sonic and Archie comic books and the Sabrina comic books. Doesn't really have much of a plot. There's plot holes we can't really get into, given they're dealing with issues that we have not released yet.
Yeah, there's some little bits and pieces here that make for some amusing plot holes. For reference, the where we're at in the podcast, we have recently just recorded episode 9. And coincidentally, episode 9 was actually around the time, where we're at in the comics, and episode 9 is around the time where this comic came out. So, for us, we know the exact point at which this comic came out, and we know, why some of this is weird. But it's interesting how we're gonna have Cobb as well, who is just a listener of the podcast, and is thus, where you, the listener, would be at right now, and, you wouldn't notice some of these, weird things, and so it's, it's just a comic and all that. But, did you have any other thoughts, Vespa?
I really, this is just a novelty to me, it's at most, like I said, this is just, to promote the comics, and, nothing much more, there really isn't, I don't have I'm not really going to get much out of this anyway, given I don't read. It's like 2/3 of the comics being promoted in this, the Sabrina and Archie stuff. Like, and they're just, they're unsurprisingly that there isn't really much to talk about. Like, so recap I think took us like 5 minutes to get through. Like, even compared to like the lighter issues of Sonic, like there's not much here. Like outside of just like some amusing bits of art here and there, and like a few cameos. We got, of course, we got like Spaziante, including a nod to his favorite Sega Saturn game, Astral, and what looks like Charlie Nash from Street Fighter. In the
comic store, there's a bunch of posters in the first page in the comic store, and one of which is fucking Astral, the Sega Saturn hero that's Patrick Spaziante. I wish I could love something as much as Patrick Spaziante loves Astral, honestly. Like, holy shit, it's so good.
Trying his damnedest to push this obscure little platformer back then.
Do you think he would have died of a heart attack of excitement if he got to do an Astral miniseries?
Probably. Like, I honestly would be curious to see what an Astral miniseries would be like.
Mm-hmm. Cobb, what did you think of the comic?
I thought it was really nice in terms of like, obviously like actual stakes and whatnot. There's not really much to say here. It's just sort of a, oh look, this is happening. We're just let's just all go to a Halloween party and make a enormous like splash illustration of as many characters as we can legally fit onto 2 pages. But it was nice, honestly. Nice that it all got tied up into a neat little bow by the end of it. And I did... I think one of my favorite parts of the story was this one specific joke about how instead of bobbing for apples, they were instead bobbing for comic books.
Yeah. It's really good until the immediate next page, in which the 2 comics they pull from the pile that they're bobbing from is an issue of Shadowhawk and an issue of Ken Pender's The Lost Ones. Which, no, the person is hoping they get an issue of it. They really want The Lost Ones.
I don't know, how much would that go for nowadays? Like, or even back then?
I mean, I got my copy in the dollar back issues section of my comic store.
Or Sap like bought into like the whole comic bubble burst thing with issue 1 hopefully being worth more in the future than they really are.
I wonder how much it's going to go for with so much water damage.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that. Like, I've seen like it's just a pile of comics, like not an actual bucket of water, but like still biting into comics.
Yeah, because they say they pulled like the guy Brad, one of the generic, like, I was gonna say NPCs, but one of the generic like background characters, quote, pulled a Shadowhawk from the pile. So yeah, I'm assuming it's just a pile of comics they pull from. It's not literally. No, wait. Sorry, I'm looking at it further. It looks like they're literally just like getting on their knees, putting their hands behind their back, and then like bobbing their head into the dirt. Because they look like, it just looks like they're just on the ground that they're bobbing for. That's so weird.
They're just pecking at the ground like chickens trying to grab onto a comic.
Yeah.
Like, that's just like you're gonna get dirt on the comic, and then you're gonna get teeth marks and saliva on it. Like, ugh, that's gross.
That's a really weird way to do bobbing.
I like to assume that these comics are in plastic wrap or something, but
and hopefully there's like a tarp underneath. We're really overthinking this, I know.
We are. It's just a silly joke about bobbing for...
I mean, we gotta find a way to pat this episode out somehow.
Yeah, what a wonderful idea, what a marvelous idea is to bob for comics instead of apples, honestly.
There was another Archie Halloween thing on, like, sort of Halloween adjacent on the Archie Sonic online reading order thing, but like the amount of
it's
Sonic
just a cameo appearance.
And it's
like, Go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just cameos, and it's not really like there's much to talk about. It's even more of a promo than this comic is, because it's pretty much just set up to sell people on the Archie Weird Mystery TV show and comic book, as well as the animated Sabrina cartoon and its comic tie-in as well.
Mm.
Yeah, like this one's like an actual like 12-page story, whereas the other one is just like they're at a comic store and a guy is doing illustrations of monsters for everyone to celebrate Halloween, and then all of the monsters become real, and then like they summon a bunch of heroes, including Adventure era Sonic and Knuckles, because this later comic comes out in '99, and they punch the monsters, and then that's the end of the comic. It's like we basically just decided not to keep it because it like there's even less to talk about than here.
The most I can say is it looks like, if you've ever watched like old 2000s era Flash animations where it's clearly like traced over official renders of characters, it looks like that with how Sonic and Knuckles appear. Like there's at least two panels of them that look like they're pulled straight from like renders of the original Adventure game, but with a gradient, like that kind of like shiny gradient we see sometimes in like the archives of like Archie Sonic comics, which will have just like some pretty bad coloring on the eyes of them in one panel where they're just like little black dots on pure white. I forget what you call like the whites of the eye, but yeah, it looks like
the sclera.
Sclera, thank you. I was thinking it might have been that. Yeah, it
just looks like weird Flash animations versions of them. It's just not really that appealing to talk about compared to this one.
Even more of just the promo.
Sonic looks slightly cross-eyed in that.
Yeah.
Even though I know that's not.
Cobb, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I did enjoy the joke about how they were serving various types of meat at the party, and Sonic and Knuckles were balking at it because they realized, like, they're serving pig roast. We know a pig.
Sonic,
I was gonna make mention. I was gonna make mention of that in the recap, but I just couldn't find a way to get it in because I was entirely distracted by seeing Shadowhawk, Particle, and Ian in the fucking background. I was like, wait, what? Why are they there?
And written by old Penders.
You were so enamored by them that you forgot that Knuckles and Sonic are just terrified of the idea that all these humans are engaging in live cannibalism.
Well, it wouldn't be cannibalism.
Yeah, it's like Ezra.
Would it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to use the word because it feels gross, given how it's usually used to just be fucking xenophobic. But like, I guess like savagery in that case, because they're like eating like to the perspective of Sonic and Knuckles, like people and all that of different races. But at the same time, as Vespa said, Sonic eats chili dogs.
Made of chili dogs.
They're made out of beef.
To say it here, Penders wrote this story. This is a Penders story, so Penders knows what he's credited the sole writer of this, so he knows that Sonic eats chili dogs. So I was just like, what? Why is he balking at fried chicken and smoked salmon?
Yeah, made out of 100% beef.
I almost just chalked it up to like, it's written from the perspective of like it's meant to be written from the perspective of like something just to pick up for like the average reader that may not know much about comic books or something, but like that joke in general, like it's just like one of those like dumb kind of like animal food jokes you see sometimes, but it's just weird to me given like I think they said something like a hog roast, and I'm just thinking like, Sonic, you're not an actual pig. Like, I know this is a dumb children's comic, but come on, you're not a... I feel like he's being joked about, like, that he's not a pig before in one of the comics.
Yeah, there's, like, some weird points in, like, the first, like, few episodes of the podcast where I noted that they just keep calling Sonic a pig or a hog because, I guess, hedgehog. Yeah. And then there's that one weird panel during the Alan Cowell story where, like, you get, like, a weird, like... underneath Sonic shot where it looks like he has like a pig snout, and it's just
I think I remember what you're talking about. If you're gonna like make some sort of like comparison to Sonic, call him a rat like a Razor Jin does in the fucking Secret Ring games.
Yeah. But what I thought of the comic, I fucking hate. No, I'm kidding. I actually really liked it. I actually had a blast with it. It was like, given where we're at in the podcast right now, me and Vespa, it's... We're just at a point where we've had several, like, dud batches, where there's just a lot of comics where we're just not enjoying what we're reading, unfortunately. And so, being able to go back to this simpler time of just, like, goofy gag bullshit just feels like an honest-to-God breath of fresh air for me, personally.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it also just had a lot of fun seeing the style blendings of Patrick Spaziante and Dan DeCarlo, seeing, like, the fucking original creator of Sabrina the Teenage Witch doing art alongside probably one of the best Sonic artists at the time that's, like American Sonic artists. It's just nice getting to see a story of Penders and Spaziante again, given one of my favorite issues, I think it was 21 and 22, the Eve storyline was a Patrick Spaziante and Ken Penders joint.
Yeah, I don't hate the comic, but it's more just like this, at most, just kind of a novelty to me. Like seeing it's Sonic and Sabrina hanging out at a Halloween party, neat. Like it's cute, but like
the crossover that would never happen or never happen again. Yet it's still here.
It's cute. Like I just didn't have very much to take away from this because I only really care about like two of the characters featured in this, and it's just got that kind of standard like fish out of water crossover thing. It doesn't really last long enough to have much happen outside of like a misunderstanding or two before the comic ends. Like I feel like this is probably like the length of like the average Archie story in like an Archie comic probably. Like I could see this like being like in the same way like how our like Sonic comics will used to at least have like a short like a 2 maybe 3 stories of like varying lengths, like nothing probably longer than like 12 pages, I think.
Yeah, I just had a lot of fun. It was just nice it's just nice having like a fluff story like this where it's also, because it's another thing that I've been having a problem with IDW right now, where, and I guess we'll get to, this is a future premonition, fucking time, we're making up stupid bullshit pretending like there's a storyline going on in this podcast, so I'll just cut the kayfabe just to get to the meat of it, because right now in IDW, we're at a point where it genuinely feels like the comic is spinning its tires trying to get to a new arc. Like, we're just in like a weird interim period where we're getting fluff stories before we get to a new arc, and let me say, it is just, for me personally, not as interesting to read. I've been enjoying the one-shots way more because within the context of the one-shots, it's just like a standalone story where it's not going to have like major impact on the plot, and you know that going into it, you know it's not going to have like high stakes, you know it's just going to like a one-off story scenario that's more for fluff. And I think that's why I actually really enjoyed this comic, because it was just nice being able to just have like a fun fluff story that also doesn't make me feel like we're wasting pages trying to pad out the page count or deadlines, editorial mandates making it so that we had to just have an Indiana Jones parody or just some stupid bullshit that I just have nothing to say about other than it exists.
Yeah, like you picked a hell of a time to jump onto the comics, dude. The IDW comics, I mean. But
it's just I'm just at a very depressing point when it comes to Sonic, because I've learned recently through self-reflection that Sonic the Hedgehog is like my comfort series. Like, it's something I grew up with, and it's something I've, thanks to this podcast, returned to. And yeah, I find a lot of comfort in Sonic. But right now, I'm kind of just in a miserable point with when it comes to my opinions with Sonic. Because, like, I'm trying to be open-minded. I'm not like, we gotta have momentum, we gotta go back to the adventure days. Like, I'm open to see, like, Sonic being taken in different directions. But, like, right now, Sonic Frontiers unfortunately bounced off on me. Like, I think it's neat. I don't think it's a bad game by any stretch, but I just cannot get invested in it. And then Sonic Superstars, I've been playing co-op with it with my partner Willow, me and Cobb's partner Willow, and it is a miserable experience because that co-op is actually unplayable. I'm hoping that somehow this gets made out of date and they patch it, but yeah. And so we have like two games in which I'm not super invested in. We have the point we're at in the comics where I'm just miserable with the Archie comics because it's just all, like, as we'll get into with the episode tomorrow and concurrent episodes, just miserable read-throughs that I'm just, like, sort of pushing myself through, mainly just out of morbid curiosity. And then IDW, where I just am also frustrated that we're basically having just fluff while we wait for, I guess, either a new arc to start or for Sonic Frontiers to have come out within the context of the editorial pipeline, given these comics are made, like, months in advance. And so it's just, I don't know. It's nice. I don't remember why I started this train of thought, and I might edit this specific part right out. But yeah, I just think it's fun to have, like, little fluff stories like this to where I know exactly what I'm getting into, and so thus I don't feel like my time is being wasted by, like, quote-unquote filler, or in some cases just actual filler.
I was going to say, like, on your point of, like, the whole thing with IDWs, like, the difference between, like, the one-shots and, like, the main series, I feel like it's kind of an issue, pun not intended, with Archie, both Archie and IDW to an extent, where, like, in the context of, like, comic discussion and, like, the whole thing of, like, comic companies, particularly Marvel and DC, releasing way too many, like, different titles for their superhero, like the Amazing, Astounding, Spectacular, Web of Spider-Man, like that kind of stuff, where it's, like, kind of confusing to the average reader, or even probably, like, long time ones, like, what comics are, like, what. Like, while Archie or IDW to an extent doesn't have that, like, it's mainly just the main series, and in IDW's case, annual/one-shots, and the occasional mini-series. I feel like part of a problem with, like, the whole thing of just having it be one continuous line where, like, every story falls under it is, like, you sometimes think, you would think, like, going into it, like, oh, it's, like, every issue is gonna be, like, a part of, like, a serialized ongoing thing. Like, if you pick up this issue, like, you're gonna be, like, going through, like, arc through arc or something, like, but it's with, like, Archie in its current state where it's getting more serialized, it's still kind of flip-flopping between simpler, like, more self-contained stories, or at least stories that feel self-contained, and stories that are meant to be a part of a long-running arc. Like, I will say that, like, I've not really read that many, like, ongoing issues of comics. Like, I tend to read, like, stuff that is more self-contained.
Yeah, like limited series and all that.
Limited series, that's the word I'm looking for, yeah. Like, I tend to gravitate towards that more so with at least DC and Marvel compared to, like, indie stuff like Image. Like, for example, one of my favorite comics, Chew. Like, those comics are ones that pretty much, like, are, like I said earlier, they're serialized. Like, you pretty much start from the beginning, and, like, every volume pretty much will matter, really. Like, there's, like, you can't really, like, skip a volume and, like, miss something. Like, I'm not saying, like, it's, like, a bad thing of, like, you can't have fluff, but I think it's more just, like, when you have to read so much stuff that just feels like you said, spinning your wheels, like, it's an issue with, like, the current era, at least Archie, that we are reading, as well as, like, what sounds like the current era of IDW that you've been reading.
Yeah, it's just, like, the problem with it for me, and, you know, I guess this is how we're gonna pad for time, we're just gonna complain about the comics industry at large, but the problem with it for me is that these comics come out monthly, and I like that. I like that these comics come out monthly, because if it came out weekly, that would be an absolute fucking nightmare. I am absolutely mortified and terrified for the mental health of those working at Shonen Jump. The thing is, like, with manga, chapters are usually the length of an issue, but they're even more so, like, serialized than most comics. And so, like, yeah, these come out monthly. That's good, because otherwise that's absolutely horrifying of the workflow you go into with the process. But then, the problem then is, if you're going through a monthly release, and you pick up, like, the newest issue of Sonic, and then it's just, like, a fluff story, if you know, you know, but if you pick up an issue of Sonic, and it's a fucking Bendy Foster's Home plot that goes for 2 months and doesn't resolve itself, you're like, okay, I guess I just wasted $8 fucking on this. Like, I care about these characters, but I'm gonna have to wait several months for this plot line to get resolved. Or, like...
I love this. I'm surprised that you're the one that you bring up the cartoon reference, not me or Cobb.
I can't believe...
I mean, it's a good, it's a good example of the kind of story you're talking about.
It's a fantastic example, which is why I'm very upset that you came up with it. I resent you for that. Anyway,
this will make more sense in like the coming months to you, dear listener. But yeah. So it's just frustrating within the context of you only get these once a month. So why are we getting fluff? Because it's like, yeah, I don't expect like we have to have like a grueling plot where you have to like keep working on the next overarching thing over and over and over again. But it's just, I don't know. To me, it's just frustrating when we just have like lighthearted fluff stuff within the main issues, I guess. Because like if it was like an anthology or like you said an annual, I think that'd be more fine. Because like you're expecting that. It's what you expect with that. But it's like with Sonic IDW or like Sonic Archie is like at this point where we're at in the comics, you go into it, you expecting like an ongoing plot, and then you just get like Bendy Foster's home, or oh no, we can't burn the roast, egads. And it's just like, if you like the characters that are featured in this issue, then more power to you for getting these little stories featuring your favorite characters. As someone whose favorite Sonic characters are Infinite Metal Sonic and Chaos Zero, I feel the pain of having your characters not get represented or not represented in a way you want them to. So, I'm not saying these issues shouldn't exist. Like, I don't want to sound entitled here, because if you enjoy these comics, then more power to you. It's just more, I'm personally frustrated that these comics aren't doing what I want them to do, even if I'm also fully aware that I'm not the center axis of the Earth. Like, I think you can still be frustrated at that, even if you don't think everyone should bend to your will, Like, I'm still, like, frustrated at where we're at in these stories. Even if I'm like, yeah, if you enjoy this stuff, then, good for you. But I'm just like, man, I just want ongoing plot right now. Like, it's like with Sonic Universe. Like, as we'll get into later on, like, that's the Glub Shido serial, isn't it? The Sonic Universe? It's like,
I guess.
I wish we just had Sonic Universe for IDW, really, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, since you hit the nail on the head with me with the manga comparison, because I think that's kind of what I was being sold on with Archie to an extent, like, beforehand, like, since it was, like, one long-running series of, like, some spin-off stuff, like, of course, but, like, my mindset was, like, going into this, like, okay, we're going to have, like, the early fluff stuff where, like, they're very early in the franchise, so, of course, it's going to be goofy, lighthearted, not serialized, or, like, not, like, continuity-heavy stories. And then, like, after a point, like, we get, like, the shit hits the fan, and we get, like, a stream of serialized stories that, like, are condensed into arcs. Kind of like a manga, like how I think, like, stuff like Yu Yu Hakusho or Dragon Ball, where, like, you get the early issues, experiment with the characters, like, lighthearted, and then you get to the point where, like, things start to pick up and the action's going on, and you've got plots and character development, all that stuff. And with Archie Sonic, we get that sometimes at our current point, both with, like, where our episodes are releasing at this point and where we are reading, but you also get a lot of stuff that just, like you said, spin our wheels, like, to set up stuff for later, or, like, we'll get, like, issues that don't really feel that important, especially in regards to, like, the super special issues that we'll get to later.
Where it just feels like they're trying to not miss a deadline.
Yeah, or, like, they have to, like, make something to try and tie in with a game that might be coming out. Like, I think, like, the problem is, like, there's nothing wrong with fluff. It's more when it's, like, stuff that just feels like plots you've seen, like, a dozen times before without much of interest going on in them. Like, you brought up the point of, like, being happy to see your favorite characters get the spotlight for once. And, like, hypothetically speaking, like, if I got, like, a story with fucking, with, like, Team Dark.
Vespa desperate tries to remember their favorite characters.
I'm trying to think of, like, a character, like, major character. Like, if I got, like, story with, like, a mainline issue of IDW with Team Dark, and it's, like, some, like, stock mystery, like, noir plot, or, like, I don't know, like, some dumb, like, oh, it's an imposter Shadow, like, Android Shadow snuck in, and they gotta figure out who's the real Shadow, and, like, some stupid thing like that. Like, it would have to depend on just how well the characters are written. If it's going to be just, like, a pretty stock standard plot with the characters are written in a very one-note fashion, and it's being played out the way you expect it to, then it's not really going to be as fun. Like, I feel like the thing with us is, of course we would love to see our favorite characters, but we also want to see them being written in an entertaining way that feels fitting for them, I'd say. Which I think is also kind of, I suppose, the problem with Sonic Archie in our current state, like, where, like, of course, like, in the games, like, there wasn't that much characterization for, like, the characters, but, like, I feel like we've had issues where, like, we have, like, the characters are written well and endearing, but then you get stuff that where it just feels like we're going through the motions and, like, just something to throw out for the month, or, like, something like that, have Sonic in while we focus on some other stuff, like. I think, like, the important thing is just, like, characterization really helps in, like, for our current stories, like, the characterization isn't at its strongest.
I think to continue to vague IDW right now, because I don't think IDW is bad. Like, I'm still, like, having, like, even in this issues I'm not enjoying, I'm still having, like, moments that, like, put a dumb smile on my face, or, like, I'm just, like, laughing to myself about how fun the characterization is. I think the problem is good production is invisible production, in the sense, like, with, like, music production, like, you don't want to, like, listen to a song and think, oh, that volume is too low on the vocals, you know? Like, you don't want, like, for, like, there's people that are, like, me included, that are gonna, like, want to enjoy, like, dissecting the process of creation, but you're also gonna want to make it so that the average person doesn't think about that shit, you know? They just enjoy the story. And so when you have stuff like the Misadventures arc in IDW, to just fully, like, put it out there, the exact thing I'm complaining about, where it just feels like these stories are played out, and to the point where in my head I'm thinking, yeah, I know this is gonna get resolved, I just want to see it get resolved already, because it's just a played out plot I've seen in a billion different cartoons growing up. And then you just have to wait next month to see if it gets resolved, and then it doesn't, and then we move on to another storyline that you then have to wait another month to see if that gets resolved, and it might not, because as of recording, IDW 66 is not yet out. It just gets frustrating, because you have a month and for each issue, you have to make it count. You know, like, having cliffhangers is fine. I'm not saying you can't have cliffhangers, because I'm currently reading through JoJo Lands as that's going out, and that shit is rife with cliffhangers, because it's, I don't remember what, it's Ultra Jump, I think it is. I'll correct it in post, but, like, that shit's still, like, fucking fun, because Araki's writing is fucking insane, and you just want to see how does the group get out of this situation. But with where we're at in IDW 63 through 66, it's just like, these plots just feel like a generic plot you'd see on, like, a Cartoon Network show, or on, like, Foxbox. And so it's just like, the characterization is still fun. I'm still enjoying the art. I'm enjoying the little character moments. But I'm also just, like, noticing how, like, played out these plots are. And I get that these are, like, comics made for kids, but I think you can make a comic made, or a cartoon made for kids, and have it appeal to adults as well. That's why we have so many adult fans of Sonic. That's why we have this very podcast. And so it's just a bit frustrating where we're at in both comics right now, where it just kind of feels like we're just having to sit through a lot of going through nothing before we can actually have something happen again. That being said, to be a bit more positive, I'm fucking stoked for the Fang miniseries. I have, like, a pie-in-the-sky fantasy of what if Fang just got a full side serial, and we just got, like, anti-hero stories with the hooligans. I think that should be fucking cool.
I was just gonna say, like, you hit the nail on the head with, like, the thing of, like, good stories stand out. Like, if you think, like, going back to Archie Sonic, like, fucking Ken Penn, like, in this issue brought up earlier, like, the Eve issues, those, I think, are, like, standout issues, like, from Ken and Spaziante. There is still, like, issues from these upcoming episodes that we did really enjoy. It's just frustrating because they tend to be wedged in between just absolute mediocrity. Like,
Yeah.
it's like mediocrity to occasionally downright awful stories. It just makes it so frustrating. Like, so you want to have that consistent roll of just good shit, like issue after issue, and it just feels like we're constantly just getting like points like, it's some like fluff about like some like
Love triangles or politicking or just stuff that we just could not care less about.
Stock standard cartoon plot stuff. And anything falls outside EM, like I always rep like the Sonic and Sally episode from the first season. That was the strongest episode of the series, I'd say, because like it had like a lot of good things going for it. And like after that, like it just felt like episodes range from to awful.
Well, you didn't like Rebecca?
What do you think?
You don't like the Frankenstein sex bot made by Rotor? I thought that was your favorite episode.
Yes, I fucking love Antron being written as a cowardly idiot.
See, this is really funny because I don't think Cobb, who's still here, by the way, we went on a wild tangent.
Wait, am I still here?
I'm so sorry for leaving you out,
but I don't think they've listened to Checkpoint Special 2 yet, and so I'm just speaking absolute bullshit right now. But yeah, I don't know how to tie this back into the comic. I feel like we just went on a lengthy tangent, but I guess all this to say is, yeah, I think it's fun just having one-shots where there's just no stakes, and you know there's no stakes, so you don't feel like the story is like meandering, waiting for like editorial clearance or a clearance from Sega or games to come out or whatever. Like it's just nice to have something that's just dumb and fun.
Yeah, I think like something that probably helps Sonic is just having something that's like just like a smaller stakes spin-off series like that made clear that like it's slice of life stuff or something. Like I feel like that could probably be something that could be of help for like, I don't know about with Archie, but like with IDW at least, I think that could help, like having like you said, a Sonic Universe kind of thing, like for smaller scale stuff, while the main issues deal with much higher stakes, interesting like drama and action and such.
Going back to the comic though, because we did want to talk about this, I guess, but
right.
Oh yeah, happy Halloween, everybody.
There's like some little like brief tidbits that I did want to point out that we just got distracted by. Why is Salem just a photorealistic cat up until, like, when they're narrating the story, and then when they appear in the story proper, they're a completely different breed of cat? Like, they're like a tabby or something, like a black fur with a white face and, like, white paws, whereas, like, in the photorealistic version where they're narrating the plot, they're just, like, screen caps of an actual black cat.
I mean, I was about to point that out, too, but, like, I think that might be the actual cat that is used in the in the Sabrina the Teenage Witch sitcom. So
yeah, like it's usually like a puppet, but yeah, like Sam in the TV show is just a pure black cat. I'm guessing they probably just had like a black cat there for most of it to remind you, like, oh yeah, it's from the TV show, and like, well, the black and white Sam we see in the comic proper is like what he's supposed to actually look like.
I kind of just wish we had photorealistic Salem, just, like, horrifically, like, photo manipulated to be answering the phone like he does in the actual comic. Just because, like, I already really liked, I touched upon it a bit, but I really like the style blending of seeing DeCarlo's, like, Archie art with also, like, Spazionte's Sonic art within the same panels. Like, I think that shit's, like, really cool. I love when people do shit like that. I would love if they just put a step further and just had absolutely horrifying, like, live-action Salem in the midst of everything else.
Or have, like, Salem, like, be, like, trace over actual photos of the cat, like, in, like, a comic art style.
Also, one line I really wanted to spotlight, because I just completely missed it on my first read-through, is when Sabrina and the random kid are transported into Mobius, and like, Sonic's like, hey, you deal with the Overlanders, which we'll cover into a bit more in the next episode of what the fuck are they going on calling humans Overlanders, but, like, Sonic goes to Knuckles, hey, you deal with the Overlanders, I'll deal with Robotnik and all that. He says to Robotnik, hey, Robo-Jerk, not even your mama would kiss that ugly puss of yours. I'm like, what? What the fuck are you talking about, Sonic? It's such a weird thing to say.
What he says to Knuckles is, you take the geeks over there while I square with his lardness. So, it's just like, it's a double insult, honestly. He just insults everyone that's around him, you know?
Yeah, I do just love that idea of Knuckles squaring up with Sabrina and some random kid who was being misogynistic to her.
Yeah, Knuckles is about to punch out a teenage child, just like...
That sounds in character for him, honestly.
I mean, Knuckles is canonically a teenager himself in this story, so it's not that weird, I guess.
True.
I mean, it's going to be pretty awful when he realizes that these teenagers are not actually as hardy as Mobians, and have... This is going to be a very different Halloween comic if that were the case.
Oh, God.
Oh, God!
One last thing I wanted to point in a comic is, I know I'm overthinking a fucking Archie comic, but in the 2-page spread, the Archies, I guess, because again, I don't know shit about Archie, so I'm sorry, but like they're playing, it like in the center of the 2-page spread is like Archie and his friends playing a band, and then also in the background, Josie and the Pussycats are also playing, so I cannot imagine what an auditory nightmare that would be of 2 different bands playing. But Jughead is part of the band, so like, did he just have the time to like get into a full-on like fat suit Sonic Live style to dress as Robotnik after playing for the band? It was just so confusing to me on like a second read.
They did.
I did find it kind of amusing, like weirdly reading that same kind of gag from
Sonic Live. They did say
Live.
that they were going to go and switch over into costume at some point, but...
Oh, you're right. I didn't see that. Yeah, it's in the same panel with Ian, which is why I didn't see that, because I was just so distracted.
I do love the fact that it's such a somehow photorealistic Eggman that Sonic and Knuckles just immediately went and started pummeling him.
Also, I forget, like, it's been a while since we last read that issue, but, like, Spazioante's Robotnik has become so fucking hideous.
It's wonderful.
At this point. Like, I remember it being, like, I remember him drawing him pretty, like, grotesque looking in the, issue 20 and 21. It was 21, right? The E-story.
21, 22, I think.
21, 22. Like, I remember him looking kind of grotesque in that, too. But, like, here he's just, like... I bet the way to describe it is it looks like his face is melting or something. Like, it's very,
his teeth are, like, way too big, I think.
Yeah, like, he's just... Like, he's constantly, like, gritting his teeth at, like, full length. Like a fucking, like, 90s, like, rubber hose kind of cartoon character. Like a fucking, like... Ren and Stimpy or Cow and Chicken looking kind of gritty, like teeth grit kind of look to describe
you two may not enjoy it that much. I love this Robotnik iteration.
I do kind of... I do kind of like it. It's just that sometimes, like, Spazioante draws it a little too grotesque looking at it, a little annoying. Like, I guess it's kind of like how classic Robotnik is drawn in a similar fashion of, like, at least in the sense of, like, the big 2 feet grin, like, he constantly has on. Like, it's just, like, it looks a bit more weird because it's, like, the kind of, like, face where, like, it doesn't look like he's moving his mouth at all. Like, at least makes sense in, like, the real Robotnik with, like, the... Wait, no, the costume actually opens his mouth some.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I like to think that the costume was just slightly dented, and that's why it opened its mouth slightly.
Fair point.
But, I think it's just more that at this point, Patrick Spazioante is mainly just doing, like, cover arts for the comic. Like, he sometimes steps in to do some stuff, but, like, at around the point we're at, like, with the episodes coming out, Spazioante has basically just moved to doing cover arts, except for, like, a few, like, occasional offshoots, and, like, that just goes on for the rest of the comic up till, like, where we're at with recording. And so, yeah, I think it's just more of that, like, the way he draws Robotnik has just shifted with time, because, like, It's just more that, like, he loves, like, very exaggerated expressions, and he loves putting in, like, way too much detail when it comes to, like, intense expressions and all that, you know? And so it's just, like, it just does look a bit weird, but, like, I don't mind it either. Like, I'm more with Cobb. Like, I think it's fine. Like, I didn't even, like, comment. Like, I did notice it was different. I just didn't really have much of an issue with it, I guess.
That makes sense.
I get it.
It's not even that the fact that I have a problem with it. I am in love with this iteration, honestly.
Yeah. I think at one point, me and Vespa are going to make plans to make a recommended, like, read list for those who want to just, like, cut the fat and see what we both think are, like, highlights or standouts of the comic. And so, yeah, I think maybe you should, like, check that out, Cobb, at some point. Especially because, like, if you like this art with, like, Spazionte, I think you'll love, like, a lot of stories back when Spazionte was more prominent as, like, an interior artist before he started basically just doing every Sonic cover for, like, half a decade.
Well, I'd be delighted to try that out then.
Do we want to move into the thing we had planned next? Because I did not expect us to somehow manage to pull an hour out of the comic of this.
It was like a lot of derailed, like, ramblings, but I don't think we can, like, talk about the other stuff too. I think we should talk about some of the other stuff.
Yeah, we can just breeze through it, honestly.
So, what we originally had planned in mind for this episode, because we figured we would just, like, talk about the comic for, like, 5-10 minutes and just be like, oh no, we're out of content, what now? And then we would just, like, do what we're gonna do now, is we're just gonna goof around and do some, like, thought experiment sort of, like, party games, just because, you know, it's a Halloween special. It's like a little Halloween party here at Knothole Village, wherever the fuck this bullshit storyline takes place at.
It takes place at Archie's house.
Yeah, we're recording in Archie's house. We accidentally got transported by Sabrina, and we can't figure out how the fuck to get to the Cosmic Interstate.
Yeah, we are here live at the thing. Josie and the Pussycats are currently playing right now because they're doing the costume contest. But anyway,
yeah, Archie is giving me the stink eye for confusing him with Archie Bunker.
He's been staring at you for 55 minutes now. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, we're just gonna goof around for a bit and just have some fun talking bullshit about our favorite Sonic characters. The first thing we wanted to do was, who would win in a fight? And I think one thing I want to posit for this, because it's very relevant, Knuckles the Echidna versus Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
I feel like...
Because I don't know the extent of Sabrina's magic.
Which Knuckles are we talking about, I guess? Are we going to go, like, the death battle route of, like, having it be, like, an amalgam kind of Knuckles?
I guess we can, just for the sake of the fact that we have Cobb here, and, you know, we don't want to talk about issues that haven't been, like, covered yet.
Right.
We'll just death battle amalgam, just a vague general idea of Knuckles.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a farce from the word go anyway, so we'll just say, just whatever you think of when you think Knuckles, just pit that against Sabrina. This is so stupid.
I guess we could say, like, it's game Knuckles, really, but, like, I don't know, Knuckles is very, like, short-ranged fighter, I would say. Like, he does have, like, his, like, thinking of, like, Sonic Battle, he's been shown to, like, throw boulders and such as a projectile, but, like, he's mainly just relies on his fists and, like, spin dashing as, like, attacks, I would say, or, like, digging down and launching up with his fists, like, stuff with, like, close range, like, stuff. Well, Sabrina has her magic, and while, like, I'm still not, like, super familiar with Sabrina's, like, magic, and, like, it was, like, Sabrina lore, I do remember at least, like, she doesn't really have that many offensive, like, base spells in the TV show, at least. But I also know there's been more, like, adventure, like she's had, like, plenty of, like, cartoons, and I'm sure, like, even in the comics, she's probably actually had fought, like, some evil wizards or something at one point or another. So I'm sure she has, like, spells she can use to, like, confuse and disorient and, like, deal with her opponents. I feel like I should have done some research on Sabrina like before, and if I knew we were going to do like a death battle stuff with like Archie characters.
I mean, I feel.
Yeah. Go on,
I mean,
Cobb.
I feel like Sabrina has like because she has access to magic, she can do pretty much anything that the plot calls for. So.
True, just like in the Sonic comics.
Yeah, she can pretty much pull any sort of spell that she thinks would be applicable here. But you also have to consider, like, as shown in the comics, she doesn't really have that much control over her magic. She seems to...
She's still a teen.
Yeah, she's very much an apprentice witch right now, and so, like, she has to have Salem come in and get her out of any scrapes. So, like...
Salem and her aunt.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I don't know. I feel like...
like, Knuckles has the pure strength.
Yeah, Knuckles can win. Knuckles can obviously win in a straight fight, but obviously since it's versus Sabrina, it's not going to be a straight fight, so he's just gonna...
Like...
Yeah, go ahead.
The thing about it is that, like, as we'll see in later issues of the comic... When Knuckles faces off against people who do, like, magic or magic kind of things, he doesn't win. It becomes more a battle of attrition or having external circumstances play into taking out the villain.
True.
But, so it's just a matter of really, like, if Knuckles can get an opening to just, like, and I feel weird saying about this, given she's literally a teenage girl and not just, like, an anthropomorphic animal that is claimed to be a teenager. Mm-hmm. Like, if Knuckles can get an opening to get to Sabrina as, like, she's futzing with her spells, like, he can, like, easily just, like, knock her out, you know?
Yeah,
but like,
the thing also with Knuckles
Sabrina could just Sabrina could just turn him into a frog if she's capable.
True.
Is the thing. From what I'm guessing... From, like, what the kind of witches you would expect in, like, this kind of comic or cartoon.
Right, like, I remember at least, like, with the show, like, Salem, I believe, was a wizard himself that got transformed into a cat by Sabrina's aunts. Mm. So, like, I'm sure, like, she has spells like that to, like, do that to Knuckles. And the thing is also, much as I hate to admit, Knuckles is not the brightest, like, brightest bulb out there. Like, he is... I wouldn't say he's... outright, like, I don't say, like, he's always, like, portrayed as a dumb muscle, but, like, he can be short-tempered, he can be, like, not aware of, like, he can be, like, short-sighted, he can be, like, distracted, and, like, he can be kind of a dumbass sometimes, so, like, I feel like, and while Sabrina is, like, klutzy with her magic sometimes, I feel like she was pretty, like, smart in the TV show, at least, like, she could be pretty witty and, like, come up with, like, the occasional, like, she could come up with, like, smart solutions to deal with the problem, even without, like, Salem's and her aunt's help.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like, obviously, bringing that into context, it does seem like, even if she does, like, screw something up, then I feel like she is still able to, like, you know, bring it back and bring it back under her power in some way. Like, so...
Yeah.
Either she like somehow wins despite her messing up a spell, and Knuckles ends up just getting tired out by all the shenanigans that she puts her through, or she ends up causing something that turns into a common enemy between the both of them, and so they have to work together in order to take them out. Mm-hmm. Which I feel is equally as likely in this sort of situation.
Yeah, I was like thinking it from like a perspective like how death battle fights tend to work, like 1 minute melee, stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like it's just a matter of like it could literally go either way because it ultimately depends on the quote unquote RNG of Sabrina's spells. Because like either she gets something off on Knuckles to like take him out immediately, or she just biffs it and Knuckles can just close the gap and immediately take her out, you know? Like, it is, like...
Right.
I don't think it's something you could easily call. But, what if we... Like, because, like, if we added Salem to the mix, you know?
Yeah.
It would just be no-brainer, and, like, Knuckles would straight up lose. But what if we had... What if we had Salem and... Sonic and Knuckles versus Salem and Sabrina? Do you think that would change anything?
I feel like, like Sonic's the fastest thing alive. Like, regardless of continuity, he is an extremely fast, almost like Flash level, the Flash levels of speed, I would say. So he's very much someone that's capable of like outspeeding his opponents. I feel like he could be like faster than magic spells.
Yeah, I would say that. Like, honestly, that's something that I wanted to talk about as well. I would like to put Salem's hat into the ring and see like if that is going to end up evening the odds. Here's the thing, like, because Salem is such an accomplished wizard, despite the fact that he is a cat and therefore has limited powers, he's still extremely knowledgeable in what magic he currently has. So he could... I still think that he has, like, enough in his repertoire that he's able to, like, be able to... find solutions to whatever Sonic and Knuckles are trying to cook up. Possibly, like, setting off a slow spell or something in order to slow Sonic down, or, like...
If I had a quarter for every time Sonic lost his speed, I would have, like, 2 or 3 quarters, and I'd just be like, wow, that's more than I expected.
I can buy a double cheeseburger with that.
No,
I can't.
A little more, honestly.
No, I can't. The dollar menu no longer exists. Anyway.
I'll give you a soda at the soda machine, the vending machine.
I don't like soda.
Yeah, I think it'd just be hard to say. Like, Sonic does have his super speed, and like the few times we see Sonic go off against magicians, I think sometimes he's able to outsmart them, but I think sometimes, again, exterior factors have to come into play to save his ass.
Yeah, I feel like in a battle between like Sonic and like a wizard, he would have to even putting aside exterior factors. I feel like he would have to like try to find either a weakness or like a loophole to their magic, or try to like exploit a weakness of theirs. Probably most likely a personality thing, like if they're like a very cocky wizard or something, like something to do like we did with Eggman, like a Robotnik, like dealing with like fucking with his ego.
I was gonna say Salem's ego is very much going to be something that Sonic is going to try and play out. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, so I guess then it might have to be Sonic, because Sonic would probably just taunt Salem and get him to falter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can see him like being able to like get Salem and Sabrina like caught off guard with like his cockiness and smart aleckiness.
Mm-hmm.
How about a snark off between the two of them? What would you think about that?
I don't know.
If it was just a pure battle of wits, no magic, no speed, they just insult each other. Who do you think would win?
Well, the thing is, are we talking about modern Sonic in terms of snark off, or like Julia White Mondo cool kind of 90s Sonic?
Well, don't forget, if we're counting modern Sonic, we also gotta include like Colors era Sonic.
True. Like, that is like way harder to decide, given the level of Sonic's snark and douchebaggery depends on who's writing him.
Exactly.
I mean, if I remember correctly, Sonic's douchebaggery has reached an all-time high recently in the comics. So,
yeah.
I feel like it's pretty evenly matched.
Fair enough. I don't know. Like, that one's more nebulous, but yeah, I would say Sonic would win just because of how much of a fucking condescending ass he is at this point in the comics.
It's a condescending ass versus condescending ass.
Yeah.
Who will win?
I'm also just thinking of like fucking Sonic and the Secret Rings again, like false things with Sonic like pissing off a Razor Jin with his like and like how the final fight goes between them with him stealing Jin in the lamp.
I don't know if we want to do this one, but it just popped into my head. What if we had Salem versus Ixis Nagus?
Oh.
How would that play out?
I feel like at least in Salem's current form, and I'm saying it's going to go in Ixis' favor. He's got way too much powerful BS on his side, just from what we've seen, even up to this point in the comics and Sadie M's Ixis. Wait, no, Ixis wouldn't be in the comics. Like, up to this point in Sadie M, yeah, I feel like Ixis has the advantage over Salem. Like, especially in Salem is very much limited in his like a cat form. Like, I guess it would depend on if like he was in his regular form. And I feel like he might be more evenly matched, but I don't remember just how powerful Salem was in the TV show.
powerful enough that he had to be changed into a cat. So
yeah, I guess it would be a curb stomp in Ixis's favor because yeah, no fucking shit. Ix is gonna be in the comics right now. Like, we don't need to edit shit out about that. Like, yeah, no shit. Ixis Nagas is gonna be part of the comic at some point. But like, in SatAM, he's basically just like Discord or Q. He just rewrites reality and all that.
Yeah,
whereas
Chaos God stuff.
Whereas like when he shows up eventually in the comics, he basically just has elemental powers mixed with whatever the fuck the writers want to give him at this point. So really, I guess it would just be a scramble to just figure out a way to get Salem to be not a cat anymore, if that's even a thing that can happen, given, like, I don't know much about Sabrina lore.
Right.
I do think I remember, like, him reverting to his human form once or twice in the show.
Now I'm just picturing, like, in my head, like, this would just be, like, a Sabrina the Teenage Witch movie where it's like, oh no, the world's gonna end because Ixis Nagas is reigning, and it's like just like a scramble to find a way to get Salem to get back to normal or something.
I can imagine some of the jokes that would be written, just like Ixis Nagas is apparently like an ex-boyfriend of Salem that they're trying, and now he has to like overcome his.
That's not the direction I was expecting.
Well, we're just.
I did have a campy kind of voice.
We're just doing the Lego movie, the Lego Batman movie, but instead of the Joker and Batman, it's Ixis Nagas and Salem.
Yeah, that's not a parent I ever thought of before.
Maybe, like
that's our OTP.
That's more of a joke than I imagined, but like I do imagine that Salem would know Ixis Nagas, and I feel like Ixis Nagas would be able to know of Salem and just be like, just taunt him as if like the almighty wizard transformed into a mere familiar. You know, it's like
yeah. I definitely could like imagine, like, I think like Sam was also like an evil wizard before he got transformed.
Yeah. So basically, it's just him. Like, I think it would just be a thing where he's like temporarily given access to his full powers in order to take down Ixis Nagas, and that. Right. In order to like pretend that he
scorned lovers in college is what I'm just imagining. Like they had like a fling in college is what I'm just imagining in magic school.
Yeah.
Again, I do remember. I forget the name of the voice actor, unfortunately, but I do remember like Sam having like a bit of a campy voice to him in the show.
Yeah.
That's why he's my favorite character. That's why he's an unironic ass in my opinion.
Oh man, we got our word here from Cobb on the tier list.
Nick Bakay, also known as the voice actor of Norb in Angry Beavers.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
god. That man, he is camp. Whatever.
Shush up, Ixis.
Shush up.
Shush up.
And so now that we've decided who would win in a fight against the two lovers of Ixis and Salem, let's do some quickfire stuff. Well, not necessarily quickfire, because we might get rambly, but just some, like, wrap-up stuff.
Sure.
Favorite candy, Sonic.
I mentioned earlier that I think he would enjoy Red Hots.
Right.
Because... because he likes like the way that he likes chili dogs. I imagine he likes a lot of spice. So I don't imagine he would. I don't imagine he would go for something really overly sweet. But if he was presented with like a spicy candy, then sure, I think he'd be all over that.
Yeah. Knuckles.
I
want to say caramel.
I was going to say something with nuts, but I was also thinking caramel as well.
Yeah, like Werther's Originals, like the kind of stuff like little like apple, the juices in the middle of it. Like, I feel like just like to capture like him being like the guardian of the emerald, because damn it, they're just calling it the emerald here in the comics. But like I feel like he would want something that's like savory with like something like to treasure in the middle, you know?
Yeah.
Like, just like it's like. And, like, the sentimentality of, like, you know, like, oh, like, your grandma giving you Werther's Originals. Aww. Like, I feel like that fits for Knuckles.
I actually have a thing of Werther's Originals over there on my dresser over there. I might go and grab one after this. But, yeah,
you should get it before Jughead gets it, given he's been eyeing that while Archie's been eyeing me.
I thought I was Jughead.
Well, you're a Riverdale Jughead because you're Cobb Sprouse, as we said.
Oh, right.
God, you're right.
Who else?
Tails.
Tails. Mint candies. Oh, yeah,
Ooh.
totally.
It's already been established in canon.
Yeah.
Right.
Fair enough.
Antoine.
100%. I think he would.
Very fancy, like lint. I was thinking like lint, like the
Lint?
person.
Lint.
Lint. Like Lindt, not
yeah.
little lint.
Yeah, he just goes behind the couch and starts pulling out the dust bunnies and just like.
Dirty
Starts
secret.
sniffing the couches like, yes, this is the most delightful flavors. And Sonic's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Exquisite. No, yeah. No,
This is character assassination, dude.
What character does he have at this point in the comic, dude?
he's assassinated himself as a character. But no, I do agree with you. I do think
This is the Archduke Ferdinand of characterization for
this is the World War I.
Antoine Ferdinand.
His character
God damn it.
assassination will lead to the worst war in the history of Archie comics.
Yeah, like I feel like
The Great War with the Overlanders and the... Sorry, that doesn't come up into the next episode. Go on.
like Lindor, like stuff, like I don't know, like I'm just thinking like fancy
Yeah.
stuff, like or at least like
No,
stuff that looks
yeah,
fancy.
exactly.
Getting back on rails.
I think I was like I was in the middle of saying like I do think you would be very much into the like very rich like super expensive dark chocolate, you know, like something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Like
example.
we were.
He would just be like... He would just be like a fucking Karen about it, is the thing.
Oh,
Like,
God.
for trick-or-treating, like, oh, you do not have the Dove chocolate? Oh, for shame. And it's like, come on, dude. Like, I just bought, like, a bag of Twizzlers for the kids. Stop
You're
it.
not. You're,
You know?
I'm giving you this candy for free, sir. Please leave my home. What about Sally?
Sally. Yeah, Sally. I feel like I guess this would more be for Tangle. Like, in my head, I'm thinking either Tangle or Whisper. But, like, partially also kind of think of Sally. I feel like it'd be Wonder Balls.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know how to quantify that.
I'm trying to
think
think why.
Cracker Jacks. Like, I think, like,
Something that has like a
Something
prize
that's,
inside,
like-
you know.
yeah, something more, like, not necessarily, like, off-kilter, but, like, not, like, something you typically get. Like, just, like, weird kind of stuff I think she'd be into.
Right.
I was gonna say,
Something
like,
like-
you bring up Cracker Jack. I'm thinking of Mighty right now.
Oh, yeah. At some point.
I do like the idea that she's like, maybe she doesn't like really indulge in candy all that much. So when she does, it's got to be something special, you know, something that's like something that you wouldn't get all too often.
Yeah.
So it's just like she would get a Kinder Surprise or something, or like a Wonder Ball. Exactly.
Yeah. Like I think like she would not really be someone who has like had time for candy or trick or treating, but then like Sonic gives her like a Kinder Surprise, and now it's like all she won't shut up about it. Like, you know.
Yeah, that's really nice. I like that a lot.
Rotor, Toxic Sludge. Anyway,
I think
I'm trying.
I feel like with Rotor, it would.
Kinder Eggs.
I feel like with Rotor, it would just be like gummy worms.
Yeah, I was
or
gonna
like
say.
you know, like
True.
the Oreo tapioca pudding that like people keep saying is like dirt. You know, like kind of like weird, almost gross
Weird
out shit. I feel like given Rotor's the resident goopy sludge boy of the Freedom Fighters, I feel like he would want to have like something that's like meant to look a bit gross or like not necessarily like candy. Like fake brains or tongues or something, but I think he would like secretly be into that.
He seems like a sour kind of
Yeah.
guy to me, you know? Like
Sour Patch Kids. I was thinking that too.
He's like the kind.
I think he would be.
He's like the kind of guy who would have a thing of sour gummy worms just right on his table that he's just like grabbing by the handful while he's working on an invention, you know?
I think he would be
Yeah.
given like for like a dirty Santa. He would be given like a bag of Sour Patch Kids. And when he's just off on his own, like where everyone else is mingling, he would like get the Sour Patch Kids and do like an autistic thing. Because I feel like if Rotor had more depth, he would be like autistic coded. I don't know, like that's like a thing in my.
I feel like I heard something about that. Like one of the writers like thought of him as that.
Yeah,
At some
but I feel like
point.
he would just do like an autistic thing, which I'm speaking from experience. I'm not like trying to like be like ableist or something like I would do.
I am autistic
where you
after
just,
all.
like, specifically bite into it in a way that it's like you're biting the head off of the Sour Patch Kids. I think that's just what he would do with like a bunch of them before he just starts like idly like throwing them into his mouth. You know, he would just specially like bite the little heads off because it amuses him. I'm projecting, by the way.
Only the green ones, though, because like he goes to the green ones and it's just like he bites the head off and then he pops the rest of the thing in his mouth before.
No. He'd either bite the head off or like twist it off or pull it off, and then do it with other ones and then stitch them together. He would stitch little Sour Patch Frankensteins.
He would.
Yeah, I actually could see that. Like him.
Yeah, he would like
himself.
he would like bite the head off of a green one. He would bite the body off of a blue one, and then he would just like lick the two in order to like stick them back together. You know, it's like
Yeah, I think he would also like the fucking Lego gummies.
ooh,
as well.
yeah. I forgot about those. I forgot those were a thing.
I was going to say that you bring up like the like sludge thing, or like I was just imagine like something like very like cream filled, sound like not Nestle eggs, Kinder eggs, like stuff like that.
Yeah. I almost did the thing that the Archie writers have been doing and just forgot that Bunny existed. I almost moved on.
Damn.
A bunny. Candy corns? Yeah, I feel like something like sweet and vaguely artificial. Like, very on the nose, but I think she would...
Damn. I don't know what I had in mind.
She.
I was gonna say either that or like caramel corn. Like I'm trying to think of like
Yeah.
country
I
kind of
see
like
I see where you're coming from.
country,
Like something that's
candy.
homemade and
It's like candy fruits.
yeah, something that's just a bit homemade and like something that you would find if you were to go down south for like a potluck or something. Yeah.
Or just like going to like a candy store. Like there's like candies that are in the shapes of fruits. Like
Right.
gummies and all
Like
that.
you'd go down to like a candy store with like the open with like the open plastic tubs and like you take out a scoop of she'd like take out a scoop of
like very homemade.
Like taking out a scoop of jelly beans, you know, like she seems like someone who would enjoy jelly beans, you know.
Yeah, but the they have to have a Confederate flag on this on the front.
We're good.
Eventually, that's the Mike Gallagher's version of Bunny.
Eventually, we will stop making this joke. I promise. Don't worry.
Look, we'll stop when
will.
Mike Gallagher stops making jokes about Bunny being Confederate is the problem because he keeps doing it and it's really annoying every time it happens.
It's something that really has not aged well in the slightest.
I don't think it aged well back then either.
Well, like, of course it didn't, but like it's more just the fact like now more than ever people realize, oh yeah, that's a really inappropriate thing that we keep on parading around.
One last one, unless you have any other suggestions, but what about Robotnik? What do you think Robotnik would like? For some reason, I really want to say black licorice.
Yeah. I was about to say, like,
yeah, black licorice does sound like that's like a popular, unpopular choice of
I was going to say...
like something.
No, you know what it would be? And I'll let you speak in a second, Cobb. Okay. I don't want to keep cutting you off, but you know what he would go for?
What?
Like, complete deadpan in Halloween. He would go for fruitcake.
I could see that actually being a gag in like early Archie, honestly. Well, I guess we're like talking like specifically Archie, Robotnik.
He just has he's just having a treat from the wrong holiday just to piss everyone off. Like
the least
and it's one that people hate universally too.
God,
I actually could see like Eggman liking black licorice though.
Yeah, what I was gonna say was like he very specifically has a compartment that dispenses black licorice out of his robot arm. So
actually, that's like something.
It's just like a huge spool of black licorice that he will just like it'll just pop out like a ticket dispenser and he'll like bite into it and then it'll just go back down for the next time that he takes a bite.
Oh yeah, also just go saying like fucking like Rotor would eat them. I think it'd be more fitting if Eggman or Robotnik had Kinder eggs.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. I think you could also just.
God damn it!
I like to joke about like Robotnik liking eggs a lot anyway.
True.
Yeah.
And maybe he
I
is
feel
a
like he would
X-Man
also
after
just
all.
like the most like I don't even want to say like health conscious because like the whole joke about like Archie Robotnik is that like he hates like fun,
Yeah,
he
the
hates
Killjoy.
healthy, but also like again like tying to Killjoy because like I could imagine like Robotnik getting like in like the when he's written more like Adventures Robotnik almost like more in a gag style because like the identity of like early Archie Robotnik and like closer to more, like where we're at right now is like way different. And it's like not quite Adventures, but it's still close. So it's like I feel like him getting fruitcake and hating it would be something that they would do as a joke for like a Christmas special. But also again, I like him being like spiteful and just eating a fruitcake for Halloween or just like very like bland stuff. Like I would enjoy it myself. But, like imagine him just like getting like hard pretzels, like the little hard
True.
pretzel bites or pretzel sticks for Halloween, like some like very like plain ass shit.
He'd like something salty, honestly. What if he just he just goes into his like trick or treat bucket and he pulls out a slice of plain white bread and just like.
How are you thinking the same thing as me? I was literally thinking the exact same thing of him just putting out a thing of white bread.
Like
That
you were
does
saying
sound
something
like-
plain, and just like.
It just like that you do
I
as
just-
well.
Would you like some?
This is why we're partners. Because we just think on the same cursed wavelength as each other. That's terrifying.
He did like he has one of his bagnets come in and is just like, "Would you like some butter, your nastiness?" And then he picks him up and just throws him out of the window and just
You
eats
wanted
the
margarine,
plate.
damn it.
He wanted margarine. Unbuttered toast.
Unbuttered.
Unpopped corn. He just,
Oh my god.
He just eats the kernels!
Would you look at the size of his incisors? Of course he. No, he just eats like he just takes out a can of like sweet corn and just spoons it out and like eats that. You know, just like...
Jeez. I like how we're just slowly making him feral instead of just like counterculture.
Counter.
And then we'll move on to one last thing to wrap up.
Mhm.
What do you think everyone's costumes would be? Let's start with Sonic. We can do anything licensed, I think, because, you know, like, this is just for the fun of it. I feel like Sonic would just dress as the Flash, honestly.
Flash is like the superhero would probably be like an obvious choice if he would go the costume. It would not be the kind of asshole who goes, I'm going as myself because he's in this case it'd be like from an ego perspective rather than laziness.
Yeah, I think. I think he would go as a superhero. My suggestion was him going as Superman, actually, but you know, the Flash would also work. I think it just might be a bit too on the nose, and he would just go for.
It is, but like I feel like Superman like probably would be a little too like white bread or like plain for Sonic.
How about we compromise in that case?
Yeah.
Batman.
Oh yeah, I think that could work.
He would totally do
that has happened at this point in the comics.
Right,
there was the
Dark
story
Knight.
that Sonic made for Tails of him as Batman.
Yes.
So I guess that fits.
I mean, in that case, like probably Tails would go like dress up alongside him as Robin.
If he were to go,
but what would go on?
what I was about to say was, what would Tails go as if he were to like go individually, regardless of what Sonic picks?
I think he would still probably go for superhero regardless, or maybe like. I'm thinking of also like modern Tails as well, like the more science geeky boy kind of incarnation.
Yeah, like it's just hard for me. It's just hard for me because I'm thinking of like the actual canonical costumes he's had. Like I'm just thinking of him going yeehaw mode right now. But
Going yeehaw mode. I do enjoy the fact that he'd like pick out something like a little kid costume would be, you know, like going as like a generic vampire or something.
For some reason, I'm thinking like. I think it's because I'm looking at my vinyl figure on my my bookshelf, but I'm just like thinking like, what if he just went as like Cuphead or
Oh my
something?
god!
Or
I can see that.
Or Luffy from One Piece.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think it might be more like an Usopp, really, like in that, like
Or Usopp, yeah,
the Gadgeteer, like the inventor of the group.
She would go as Rotor.
He would go as Rotor. Rotor would go as Tails.
Actually, that's like another gag from that they would
Just
do.
They would just be like, well, one of us has to change.
Yeah, if you're gonna be like Tails and Rotor as each other, or like Sonic and Tails as each other, like I feel like that could be like a goofy little like sibling thing for him to do.
That'd be cute. Yeah, I would like that.
Yeah, definitely. Sally.
Princess Peach.
The game going as the enemy.
Yeah.
As the enemy?
The enemy.
She just goes as Robotnik.
Oh, because Sonic and
Yeah, exactly.
Sonic.
She just goes to Halloween as Robotnik.
No, that's Rotor.
Oh,
Yeah,
true.
that's Rotor's
True,
costume.
that is
yeah.
Rotor's costume. Thinking about it. No, I do think she would pull off a Princess Peach outfit.
I was
Honestly,
thinking more like Princess Buttercup or something like some sort of like movie princess, like a Princess Bride or like a Disney
Yeah, I
princess.
feel like I just feel like it would have to be something more independent, more femme fatale.
That's true,
Not necessarily femme fatale, but like less. I don't know how to describe it. You know what I mean, though. Like something more.
Like
something more
like an adventurous kind of character.
how about?
Like I feel like she would do more like Daisy or like Princess Bubblegum. Honestly.
Oh yeah, Princess Bubblegum
PB
would work.
be a good choice as well. Like going more modern. Yeah, I was thinking like leaning toward like Buttercup because of like the Princess Bride. Like she was like from it's been years since I last watched the movie. Like Princess Buttercup was like a adventurous girl as well. Like she didn't really take much shit from like the kidnappers and such.
I thought you meant Powerpuff Girls Buttercup. I think she would dress as a Powerpuff Girl.
I think
True.
I think
could see
Bunny
her going
would
as
play-
Blossom.
I think
Yeah, I was gonna say her and Bunny, and then her, Bunny, and Amy would just dress up as the Powerpuff Girls.
yeah, that'd be cute.
Well, who would be who as a brief tangent
Blossom,
within
Sally,
a tangent?
Bunny, Buttercup, and Bubbles, Amy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd say that. Yeah,
That's like what their like roles are in the current point of Archie at this point.
yeah. I'd say that.
That'd be cute. That'd be fucking adorable.
Mm-hmm.
We've already talked about.
Antoine.
Oh yeah, Antoine.
Archduke Ferdinand. No.
I feel like Antoine's the kind of person I would consider himself too like mature for trick or treating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he had to
And
go, it
then-
would probably be like some sort of like historical figure or something, like something very classy. Like
Napoleon.
I'm trying to think of like a classy, like classic
Napoleon.
He would
You
absolutely
know, that
be
is like
Napoleon.
that would be the obvious joke one they would go for. Yeah,
Either that, or like he would do like some sort of literary character, such as
yeah, like classic literature stuff. I'm just trying to think of like besides like fucking Sherlock Holmes, like a good
Shakespeare.
example.
Shakespeare.
Yeah, Shakespearean. Yeah. Like a Shakespearean character, like
He could be-
Shakespeare himself.
he could be
Yeah, Shakespeare
he could be
himself.
Hamlet and bring along
Hamlin.
Hamlet.
Hamlet.
I know.
did.
I know.
He would-
I know.
Then he could say that he brings along Yorick, the dead jester.
No.
So
Yeah.
You know what would be funny for Antoine?
What?
Get him a fat suit and make him be Alfred Hitchcock. I don't know how that would even
He'd
look,
just-
but it'd be funny.
and everyone would wonder, like, everyone would go up to him, like, you and Rotor both went as Robotnik. That's
Dr.
interesting.
Robotnik.
And he's just,
definitely makes, like,
I am
jokes and
Alfred
tease over him.
Hitchcock, you uncivilized beings.
Yeah.
And then Rotor himself would go up to him and just be like, okay, one of us needs to change. We can't be the same costume.
Yeah.
And
That'd
then
be the
Robotnik,
kicker. That'd be like the third one. Yeah, I'm also gonna say like they probably like introduce it like the way that like the Alfred Hitchcock opening goes.
I feel for a generic one, he could just be like a knight. though.
True.
I think a knight would be one that'd be fitting for him.
yeah, he'd be. What if he were like he would like put out a King Arthur costume or something, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
or Sir Lancelot or whatever. Either one.
Yeah, I was thinking Lancelot.
If you were
too.
if you were to do the Alfred Hitchcock, I think I can imagine a gag where it's a costume contest based on accuracy. Rotor wins third place in the Robotnik lookalike contest. Robotnik himself would somehow enter, and he would win second place. and Antoine in his Alfred Hitchcock costume would win first.
We're just writing a SpongeBob plot at this point.
Like, again, this is a playing character for early Archie.
Yeah.
Cartoony, dumb shit they get up to.
See, that's what I do. That's now you have an insight into my brain.
What about Knuckles?
Ooh, Knuckles. I think he'd be. I think he'd go as like a boxer or something.
Taco.
What?
Taco?
Or a pizza.
He'd go as.
I
Why?
don't know why. I can't quantify that.
The thing with Knuckles is, like, given, like, he's, at least, like, in, like, I would say, like, game Knuckles, at least, is, like, more of a fish out of water with modern culture.
Yeah.
Like, so he wouldn't really... I feel like he'd be the kind of person that would have to learn what Halloween and trick-or-treating would be, is. Like,
yeah.
I think that's why, because it would be something weird like that, because you're like a fish out of water, a loner, and so it's like something goofy, like a fucking, like, pizza, or...
He just, like, gets his, like,
a horny priest.
A what?
Why is that?
Someone...
I don't know.
Sonic just takes him to Party City, and is just like... Hey, Knuckles, why don't you try this on?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, he's
more
like an evil priest.
Costume.
That makes sense.
He just pulls out a sexy nurse costume and covers the label with his hand in order to be like, here, Knuckles, why don't you try this one on?
Yeah.
Yeah, or he's just like, oh yeah, an evil priest, sure. And he does not realize that the priest also has a fucking, like, blow-up erection as part of the costume until day of, and he can't return it.
Yeah, like, he'd definitely be someone that would, like, need... Or, like, he'd, like, just have, like, something, like... He quickly gets, like, gets, like, his hat or something, like, I'm going as a cowboy, or something like that. Like, he'd have to, like, scramble to get something...
No.
What?
Blow up Among Us costume.
Oh my god. That would be
Has no clue what a Mogus is.
He just knows that it's a thing that'll be popular,
Or someone
and he just
gave it
picks
to
it up
him.
because he just...
Hey!
Alright, I guess so.
He just walks into the party, just be like, hey! Look at me! And then he falls over, and he's just like, Fall Guy!
God damn it. I can see him also being annoyed with the lack of arms that the costume would have.
Yeah, he would just...
How am I supposed to walk around in this? And struggle to get, like, it's like a fight scene, and he's struggling to, like, deal with the costume in it.
God, yeah.
Who else? Rotor. We already said Rotor would just go as Robotnik.
Yeah, that would be... That's basically it. Who would Bunny go as?
Robert E. Lee.
No, we already...
I thought you wanted to stop with those jokes.
We did already say that there would be the... Like, the girls would go as a trio as the Powerpuff Girls, so...
Yeah,
I'm going to figure individually for that.
I feel like, no, like, for real answers, though, it would probably be something like a 1950s Western or something. I'm thinking, like...
Iron Man.
That as
Iron
well,
Man.
I could see. Like, I was thinking, like, something like Annie, Get Your Gun or something. Like, some sort of, like, classic Western story from the 50s or something.
Okay, I just made a logical leap, because I was like, oh yeah, we'll just tie into, like, the Thelma and Louise stuff we talked about during the tier list. And then for some reason my brain went into, what if she dressed as the lead, the female from The Shining? I don't know why. I don't even remember her name off the top of my head.
I was just thinking of the actress, Shelley Duvall, I believe is the actress.
Yeah, Shelley Duvall's character in The Shining.
Okay.
Wendy Torrance.
Or Lisa Simpson. I don't know
Lisa
why.
Simpson.
I don't really think it really fits Bunny that well, Lisa.
Okay, but what about Wendy from Wendy's?
Maybe.
No. I don't think
she
that's
just
it.
goes out as Marge Simpson.
Colonel Sanders.
The Colonel.
Colonel.
Maybe.
Captain McDougal.
God damn it.
Ooh.
That's an in-joke with me and Cobb, sorry.
You can't keep doing that joke.
I'm scared to know the context.
It's just a Colonel Sanders stand-in for the tabletop game we ran was the joke.
There's several layers of separation from that as well. Like it's like
Cobb.
I'm not gonna say it.
Another one.
Never mind.
Another one for between you and me.
Yeah.
Colonel Sassacre. from Homestuck.
Do I want? Oh, it's a fucking
Colonel
Homestuck
Suffer.
reference. God damn it.
God damn it. Grandma Harley. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't really know. It's really hard to pick one for her, honestly.
I don't know. I think,
Like I said, like I feel like
Jess-
some sort of cowgirl, cowboy.
I was about to say,
Maybe just a generic cowgirl outfit.
what I was about to say was,
Yeah.
Jessie from, Toy Story 2.
Yeah, that's
I
another
was
good
gonna say from
example. Like,
Pokemon.
Yeah, Jessie from Pokemon.
that'd be like her and Antoine could be Jesse and James.
Oh, that'd be great, actually.
That's the reason why. Yeah, Bunny gets really upset because Antoine instead goes as Alfred Hitchcock.
Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh yeah.
We were supposed to.
Yeah, that works well.
Yeah, she'd just be so upset because like we were supposed to coordinate our costumes, and now you're going as Robotnik. Just like.
Yeah, God damn it! It's such a dumb joke. It's such a like obvious like kid cartoon joke that kind of even cracks me up every time.
It's so good.
What would Robotnik go as?
Himself, like or like Albert Einstein or something.
The
I mean,
Like, if
Teddy
he actually did
Roosevelt.
Bob or like
Santa Claus.
Why did I think of Dio from JoJo? I don't know why. That would not make any sense
I don't
whatsoever.
think that would fit any Eggman.
Dr. Claw from
Dr. Claw.
Inspector Gadget.
Oh my God, you're
He already
right.
Maybe.
sounds like it in Sad AM.
God, you're right. Actually,
Yeah, like it's definitely like inspired by Claw.
Get into it, Kari.
don't they have the same voice actor? Or am I?
Frank, I think
It's Jim
Dr.
Cummings
Claw.
for Sad AM
Yeah.
Robotnik.
Oh,
And
well,
Dr.
never mind
Claw
then.
is voiced by... Who is he voiced by?
I.
Oh, yeah, Frank Welker. That's what I thought.
Oh,
I
okay.
guess he voiced one of the incarnations.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
It's just hard because it's like you think like again he hates fun. What would he even dress? I feel like he would dress up as Sonic as part of like an evil scheme to think like I'm gonna infiltrate as Sonic and then I'm gonna ruin his reputation. And then he goes in on the one day he plans this on a costume party and it was like, oh hey Robotnik, cool costume. It's like, oh yes, I am Sonic.
But to be fair, that actually was the plot of that one, the Hero of the Day or whatever it was from Sonic Jam, like where Robotnik, Eggman pretends to be Sonic and gets him framed, like that weird little short from the Sonic Jam game.
Oh yeah. Oh, I remembered that
Those
one.
are
That was
words.
fun. It
I'm
was
sorry, I just not parsing any of that.
No, the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog like short film. Remember?
Oh no, it was more like an anime, like Man of the Year from Sonic Jam is what it was called.
Okay.
Vaguely
Or like
sounds
Sonic
familiar.
the Animation.
I think it-
I'll send you the link.
I think
Yeah.
I might be thinking of. I might be thinking of the Christmas special. Whatever it is.
Yeah, that was the one where like he like did a Grinch and tried to steal Christmas.
Oh yeah.
I kind of remember that. Oh, he would go as the Grinch. He would absolutely. He would go as Jim Carrey's Grinch specifically.
Yeah, either the Grinch or like Krampus.
Or
Krampus is a bit too like outside
Michael
of him.
Myers, Cat in the Hat.
He would go as the cat in the hat. Absolutely. Holy shit.
God.
He'd force Snively to go as a thing.
Oh my god, yeah, that's I think it's work for me now.
He's-
It's like it'd either be the Thing or Max if he's going as Grinch.
Snively is very specifically Thing 2 because he thinks he's not good enough for Thing 1.
So good. Like, yeah, he would just like completely bypass trying to make a creepy costume, like an evil skeleton or like a mad scientist, and just go straight for the uncanny valley by going for Michael Myers, Cat in the Hat.
Michael Myers.
Mike Myers.
Michael Myers.
Mike
Cat in the
Myers.
Hat.
Mike Myers. Mike
That actually would be
Myers.
very terrifying. Michael Myers mixed with the Mike Myers Cat in the Hat.
I love. It reminds me of. It reminds me of that.
It's just.
It reminds me of that one image edit where it's like Friday the 13th, but instead of Mike Myers in the shadows, it's actually Austin Powers just like
Halloween.
grinning.
Halloween.
Sorry.
I'm just
Getting everything
imagining.
mixed up.
Now I'm just imagining Mike Myers, Cat in the Hat, but with like Michael Myers' jumpsuit, and also his face does not like emote at all. It's just like stuck on like not even like an exaggerated creepy grin, but just like a grin as if you like paused a frame from the movie and just left it there.
It's just a plastic. It's just a plastic thing where you can still see his eyes behind it as well. So like, no, it's very specifically a plastic mask that's modeled after the actual model of the Cat in the Hat, as if illustrated by Dr. Seuss himself. Like,
awful. I just have one last bonus one. I don't know if any of you would be able to like think of anything for it. But like, what one character from Sonic, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Archie, but bonus points if it's something from Archie, do you think would be a funny Dead by Daylight killer?
ooh. I do think Robotnik would be an interesting.
Robotnik could be interesting.
Yeah.
But which Robotnik would you say, Cobb?
Saddam Robotnik, honestly. I think would be fun.
I was thinking...
I think Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, Robotnik would be a bit too...
It'd be way funnier.
It'd be way fun.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
It'd be way funnier, let me tell you, but like, I think it would be at odds with the...
Oh no, I'd be like Adventures Eggman. Robotnik is creepier, honestly.
Sorry, now I just want a Dead by Daylight killer that is just a character from the cartoon transplanted into the real world. Like,
yeah,
I am just saying I want
that.
Jim Carrey's The Mask as a Dead by Daylight.
Oh my god!
I'd kill for that.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I want like a cartoony Dead by Daylight, like a fucking like what's that one game? The skateboarding one for GameCube. Go Hyper Grind,
yeah,
like a Go Hyper Grind of like a asymmetrical horror slasher game.
Oh my god, you're right.
I'd play the hell out of that.
Yeah, forget an Archie character. We are
games.
putting Jim Carrey's The Mask into Dead by Daylight. That's what we're gonna do. Forget
Jim Carrey's The Mask. Who else? Like the red guy ran from Ren and Stimpy.
the red guy from Cow and Chicken. Oh my god.
Fucking the noise from Pizza Tower.
The noise, yes.
I thought you said the Noid.
Well, yes. Also,
that as well. We could throw in the noise
also
too.
the Noid. Yeah.
We're getting off topic. We need to get back to Sonic.
We're not. This is ceasing to become a Sonic podcast, and it's ceasing and it's starting to become something else. Tune us next time for the first episode of Tune So back to Sonic.
Right. I was gonna
What
say,
a wonderful plug.
The first thing that's coming to mind is a Razor Chin. Bird Time's a Charm.
Oh my
comes
god.
Up. No, like unironically, like a Mephiles from Sonic 06.
Really
Yeah, that'd be neat.
Like
we don't have like a
Mephiles.
We don't have like a demon or a devil guy in Dead by Daylight yet. That's crazy. I mean, we have like this. We have Pinhead, but that's not really the same kind of what you'd expect from like Mephiles or like
Infinite.
Who's what's the
Infinite?
What's the guy? Hold on, brief before we get into that. Who's the guy? Mephisto. Sorry, I was trying to remember the one from Spider-Man One More Day, but it's Mephisto. But anyway, Infinite would be cool.
I can't.
That's the enemy working.
I could not Mephisto them all, He-Man.
I think the issue of Mephiles is given like there just isn't much. I feel like you could pull from 06. Like Mephiles himself, like has like his shadow stuff, like his clones, the lasers. Like
I feel like you could just reskin him over like Wesker or something, or like the I'm gonna cry the Dredge. Instead of reminding me of like I'm just thinking like Mephiles as just the Dredge, which is like a weird like eldritch abomination that like teleports from locker to locker. I feel like you could do Mephiles that way, and I think that could be interesting.
Yeah, that seems interesting.
So he also like dims the lighting of the map as well, and like cloaks it in shadow.
I know, it's an obvious choice. The Tails doll, like leaning on like the creepypasta mythos surrounding that.
Yeah,
like, I feel like that actually could be feasible if they're willing to do
some
it.
Sonic EXE type glitches and stuff, you know? It's like
if it wasn't a logistical copyright nightmare, given they already had to like do a copyright-free version of Sonic for Forces, would just like they could totally just do EXE. I think that would be wild to have a creepy. I don't want to go into another tangent because we need to wrap up soon. But like, imagine like Jeff the Killer or like some kind of creepy. How do we not have like a Dead by Daylight character based off of like creepypasta? Because we have like loosely based off of urban legends. Like I would say like Clown or like Legion could be loosely like urban legend based. We don't have a character that's like very explicitly like riffing off the concept of creepypastas, which was just wild to me.
Yeah, that is
like Slenderman or anything.
Yeah, no.
I'm trying to think of some other good choices.
I was gonna say like Enerjack, if it wasn't like a copyright nightmare. I think would be cool to have.
Yeah,
like Enerjack in a way that's like
scary,
Wesker.
Though. You're just saying it because you love Enerjack so much, dude.
Yeah, but like not all the characters in Dead by Daylight. We have Nicolas Cage as a survivor in Dead by Daylight. They don't all have, and we have like Attack on Titan outfits for skins for the characters. I don't think we have to worry about characters being scary. And yes, I know I'm talking about survivors, but still.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if like there's any ever like good horror-related characters in Sonic.
It's not going to come up in for a few episodes, but Kragok would be interesting.
Ixis Naugus.
Ixis would be fucking hilarious. Just have an evil wizard. Snively.
Snively, yes!
Ron Lim Sonic.
Okay, we can't go that far in the future to going to the future that we haven't been from yet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, what about we just bring in Mr. Stone, honestly?
Why Mr. Stone?
I don't know.
They're trying to pull from something from the future, but they don't know anything about future Archie, is why.
You know it's fair.
Mammoth Mogul would be hilarious.
That's scary for a different reason, dude.
I keep thinking that's a DC character, like the... Oh, what's the gorilla?
There was a character named Mogul. Like Vandal... no, not Vandal Savage. That's... Mogul. Yeah, Mongol. That's what you're thinking of, I think. Mongol from like a Man Who Has Everything. I think like that's probably what you're thinking of.
Is that the gorilla character? That's
oh no! Oh wait! That's like Gorilla Grodd. Like there's a couple gorilla villains. Or is it thinking the one with the brain? The brain and
that's the one I'm thinking of.
Oh man!
Yeah, Mala Mansua Mala.
Okay.
Evil Concarne. Let's just become two nerds.
Oh
and just
my
start
God.
talking cartoon. No, we can't. We gotta. Wrap this up
Mansua Mala, the gay gorilla in love with the brain.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
It's just hard for Sonic because there's not really that many horror themed characters or like characters that are like horror adjacent enough. Like I think like if we're gonna pull from like IDW, Mimic could be could honestly.
Yeah, I could see that working.
I'd say we could do like an evil robot. We could do like Metal Sonic or something.
Or I was about to say Metallic. That's from Super Mario Bros. Z. Like the Mecha Sonic. Mecha Sonic is what I was thinking of.
Of course.
And to be fair, like Scrap Mecha Sonic also leans into it too.
True.
And then we have a bonus skin where he has a dunce cap.
God damn it!
I hate this.
Well, like it's a Halloween special. We can be more indulgent than normal.
And on that note, happy Halloween, everybody. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
That's gonna do it for this Halloween special of Title Pendering. Tune in once again, because it's the third time I'm doing this, chronologically speaking, where we build into Endgame.
Look forward to that,
Yay.
Folks. Stay pendering, penderheads.
Gotta cheers.
Whoa, my head is spinning. And on that note...